No, I don't think so. It's like that's what it says. This is what's gonna happen. That's what it is. It's like already. Side radio. Yeah, so. Everybody, I have a couple copies of this, but I do have, this is the packet that was handed out to everybody. And if you have not had a chance to see it tonight and you would like to look at the copy, you're gonna have to share it, but I've got 2 copies of it. So does anybody like it? Okay, well, what that. Okay. Do you have a blog? Pass it along. There he is. Got great smiles.
Haven't seen Scott Carver in a while. He's here. It's with the boat. Never know. Marilyn said they've been going on the boat every day. Every day. She said they rode out to Cedar View. They went down the Nandua Creek the other day, went out, saw Cedar View and the beach and all out there. And you should have told me.
Well, you're 13 years, but still.
I gotta clean up this desktop, man.
Yeah. Thank you for my worst meeting.
Mhm.
Well, I have. Well, you're right.
What I have to do? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, what do
What do I have to do?
It's 10 days later.
No, White House, but yeah.
Yeah, well, the voting. Shreveport was not able to come tonight, so we will do that in the next month. They're both really short.
All right, Casey, 6 o'clock. Rock this show.
I thought it was not.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Okay, let me push this back a little bit. Okay, well, I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Onancock Planning Commission for September.
I want to thank you all for coming, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts later in the evening. Now, if you haven't seen the agenda, what it looks like after we do our approval of minutes is that we've been trying every month to hear from some community folks as part of our collecting information for the comprehensive plan. That's a whole major task that we're not even going to get into at all tonight. But I have asked, I asked the tree board, the group that is concerned about spraying. Tonight was an environmental focus. And then Greg Temple, our commissioner who has a special interest in water, is going to do a short presentation on the Chesapeake Bay Act and some of the other things that might impact our planning for the comprehensive plan. This will not take a lot of time. We're doing it first, and then we will have plenty of time for presentations and public comment on the main agenda item of the evening. So next month, I'm anticipating having, if you're interested in following along with the information gathering that we're doing, you're welcome to come to all of these planning commission meetings to listen to different groups talk about what they're doing, what their relationship to the town is, what their perceptions are of, and what they're feeling about their sense of Onancock's future. We also, in the middle of October, starting in the middle of October, are going to be doing a lot of community workshops to talk to folks about the comprehensive plan. So please stay tuned for that. We're going to try to do it neighborhood by neighborhood. So let me go ahead and call the meeting to order. And Debbie, can you do our attendance?
Sure. Commissioner Adler,
Present.
Commissioner Holdren,
Present.
Commissioner Labadie, Commissioner McGowan, Commissioner Temple,
Present.
Commissioner Weitzel,
Present.
and Chairperson Greer.
Present.
Okay, you have a quorum.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I need to have a motion to approve the minutes. Did anybody have any corrections for the minutes from this last,
I'll move that we approve the minutes from the prior meeting.
from the August meeting? Can I have a
Second.
second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so what we're going to move on to first is, as I said, the tree board isn't here, but Greg is going to do some talk about water and then
Really interesting. person.
anti-spray.
Really neat person, actually. Anyway, she and I went to Lexington, like the day before or the morning before they had the big ceremony,
Fletcher,
like, early this.
Oh, April,
Yes, exactly.
Fletcher,
Yeah, the big time.
Right.
April 18th.
And-
mute, can you mute Fletcher? Okay, thanks. Yes, it could have been a whole lot worse. I'll leave it at that. Okay, so usually what we've been doing is the groups have been coming up and sitting at this table, but Greg's here. And then who's representing Bugs? Is that you, Dana? For spraying, or did she, or no, who has come? Oh, well, I sent you guys an email about it. That's all right. We'll do it next time. It was a while ago, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll do it. Believe me, everybody's going to get to speak. So we'll do it the next time. So let's hear from Greg Temple. He's going to talk a little bit about water issues associated with the Chesapeake Bay Act. Some of one of the major themes that we have to think about in the comprehensive plan is clearly water, and the town's water. So Greg, go ahead, please.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thanks for coming out. It's always nice to have a large group here. And we're actually looking forward to all your comments later on. Casey asked me to talk for a few minutes about an area that I'm interested in, and that is really stormwater management. And I just we're going to be talking about this a lot and in the comprehensive plan. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about the Chesapeake Bay Preservation Act, and then just kind of go through a few terms that we're going to be talking about as we go through this whole process. So improving the health of the three branches of the Onancock Creek that delineate our town through the use of stormwater management practices is not only essential, but it's directly related to the quality of life in our town. These creeks are our most important resource, and I believe it's what makes Unancock unique. It will be our intention when updating the comprehensive plan to ensure that the town is in compliance with the Chesapeake Bay Preservation Act, and to improve and update the various maps in the plans, and to require the use of stormwater management, best management practices for any new development or redevelopment of land use. Something I wanted to mention, I don't know if any of you saw it, but the University of the University of Maryland College of Environmental Sciences puts out an annual report card on the Chesapeake Bay, which they released a couple months ago. And they do it in conjunction with a few other groups. But this particular one, what they measure are its total phosphorus, total nitrogen, the dissolved oxygen, what they call bethnic community, which are the organisms that live at the bottom of the bay, the water clarity, chlorophyll A, which are the microalgae biomass, phytoplankton, and aquatic grasses. They're looking at all those and giving them grades for the overall health of the bay. This last time the report card came through, they gave it a C overall, which was down from a C plus on the previous year. The lower eastern shore, which it wasn't, delineated too specifically to us, but we were given a grade of C. So according to them, the overall trend is up, even though it's slightly down. But anyway, that's a moderate calculation of the health of the bay. It's still got a long way to go. Regarding the Chesapeake Bay Act, there's two acts: the Clean Water Act, which was the federal law enacted in the 1970s, and then we have the Chesapeake Bay Preservation Act, which was passed by the General Assembly in 1988 and has been amended several times since then. The overall impact is to protect and improve the water quality of the Chesapeake Bay by requiring the effective use of land management practices. And a healthy state and local economies and a healthy Chesapeake Bay are integrally related. A balanced economic development and water quality are not mutually exclusive. We can have economic improvement and development and have clean water. Both are possible. So we're going to be kicking around a few terms that you'll hear as we go through this process, and you might want to make yourself familiar with them. The first are just a couple of general terms. An ecosystem. It's just a complex set of relationships among living and non-living things. Air, water, soil, plants, animals, and humans make up an ecosystem. The Chesapeake Bay ecosystem consists of the bay itself, the local rivers and streams, all the plants and animals, and humans that it supports. That's our ecosystem and the ecosystem of the bay. A watershed. It's simply an area of land that drains into a body of water. All right. Stormwater. Stormwater really is just precipitation, rain, snow, or ice. What's important is noting and watching the movement of that precipitation as it goes through an environment, a natural environment. That process is known as the hydrologic cycle. And understanding the hydrologic cycle, that is how the water moves and where it goes and how much is infiltrated and how much is runoff, helps to choose the best management practice to managing the stormwater runoff. Another term you'll hear is point source pollution. That's a single identifiable output of a pollutant to a body of water. Perfect example would be our water treatment plant on the North Creek. That is a point source. Another example is if you know an industry and whatever they're discharging is coming through a pipe directly into a water, that's a point source, something you can identify and trace back to one source. What we're mostly concerned with is non-point source pollution. And this is polluted runoff primarily from urban, suburban, developed areas, and agricultural sites. The source of stormwater pollution is diverse and cannot be identified from a single source. Stormwater itself is an example of non-point source pollution. Something else are here, TMDL, that stands for total maximum daily load, or the amount of a specific pollutant that a body of water can receive and still meet water quality standards. So, I mean, that's how they set water quality standards. How much phosphorus, how much nitrogen, and the total daily load is how much can you put in and the water can process it and still meet water quality standards. So that's the total maximum daily load. MS4s stands for municipal separate storm sewer systems. And that is, they are separate from your sanitary sewer systems. From pretty much the first half of the 20th century in this country, we didn't separate the two. Your sanitary sewer and the storm sewer were all connected. So if there was a heavy rainstorm and it was running out, you'd have sewage spilling out as well as just runoff. That was outlawed, and they've been, I think pretty much it's gone now in America, but you know, a few places still exist, but that's a big no-no. You don't want to cross the two. Something that came up, those of you who followed the travails of the pavilion, there were times when a couple things came up, RPAs and RMAs in association with that project. An RPA is a resource protection area. That is the land adjacent to bodies of water with perennial flow. Perennial means year after year. Those would be tidal wetlands, non-tidal wetlands, connected by surface flow, and tidal shores. The purpose of an RPA is to prevent a net increase in non-point source pollution from new development and improvements on existing land. It is to protect the water quality, limit erosion of sediment, and increase the infiltration of stormwater runoff. RPAs are mandated by the creation of a vegetated buffer zone, not less than 100 feet landward, along sensitive water features, streams, and wetlands. One of the things we'll be doing with the comprehensive plan will be updating the RPA map, so hopefully it's readable and something you can look at and see, and also perhaps some additions. We'll be looking at that. RMAs, the resource management area. These are geographic areas as designated by the local government, which has the potential to degrade water quality if developed improperly. They're contiguous to, but less restrictive than an RPA. The purpose is to ensure the development in an area designated an RMA is managed to prevent harm to the functional value of the nearby RPA. Examples are floodplains, highly erodible soils, and non-tidal wetlands not included in an existing RPA. Those are just a few of the things that we're going to be, terms you'll be hearing about, and how we're going to be incorporated. And, it's how the Chesapeake Bay Act gets enacted. Couple things I'd just like to see. I know when we had the problem in the winter with the water system, the town discovered that it needed to have an accurate map of the potable water system. And I was thinking it would be nice to have a map of the stormwater system, just to have that. And something that's of interest to me is finding and identifying areas in town where we can, through volunteer or working with the city, have a project to mitigate stormwater management. So it's something that has to encompass a fair watershed, in part of the town, and an area where if we were to do a project, it would have maximum impact on the water quality. I happen to have an area in mind that happens to be right behind my house and our property on Market Street, but that's another story to be developed. One of the things, let's see, where did I finish here? There we are. I'll finish with this. Through various surveys that we've had over the years, everybody's always trying to identify what we want the town to be. You know, what is our image? And I say, why not have it be environmental tourism or ecotourism? You know, think about a future where people would come to Onancock to see state-of-the-art stormwater management practices incorporated into urban planning and development. They would see how we made Onancock economically viable and at the same time improved our most valuable resource, the creeks and waterways that makes this part of the world so unique. So anyway, that's just, I want to throw a few things out, and I hope that folks you help to move forward through this process. You get a little more understanding of what we're talking about and how it works.
Thank you very much, Greg. That was really, really helpful. We have a lot of complicated issues that are going to have to be addressed, or we want to address, in the revised comprehensive plan, and water is certainly one of them. And it's good to have someone who's really become an expert. This is because it's not my wheelhouse at all. So at any rate, I'm really appreciative of the work that he's done in this area. Okay, we can move along now. Before we do that, let me say that as we're working on the plan, you are welcome, as I say, you are welcome to participate every month and sit in. We try to have lots of opportunities in our conversations, in our deliberations for comment. And as we're taken up right now with the zoning matter that is pretty significant, but as we work more on the comprehensive plan, we're really happy to have you here to give us more feedback. We will be doing meetings in neighborhoods, but a steady presence, if you decide you want to come every month, can really make a difference in how we approach our work. We have a timeline now that takes us through next spring and involves lots of community input, lots of organizational inputs, an intense period of writing from January to March, and then a draft that you guys will all be able to take a look at and comment on. As you know, or you may not know, the Planning Commission is an advisory group. And while we articulate policy, in the end, Town Council has to approve the plan. So the more people who are invested in the plan, the more likely we are to go through the political process successfully. So thank you again, Greg. So what I'm going to do now is get ready to open this public hearing on the zoning application that we're talking about. And what I want to do is I'm going to read you a short introduction just to clarify some things, and then I'll formally open the hearing. So what I want to do is just set the stage. First of all, again, thank you for attending and participating. This public hearing is for the purpose of collecting public opinion and questions regarding the proposed rezoning application by Atlantic Group and Associates. Their request, which is numbered 85-A3-A-29A, asks the town of Onancock to rezone 27.33 acres located within, but on the edge of the town limits. They want us to rezone it from B2, which is Business Highway District, to R2, which is a multifamily residential district. If you have not signed up to make a comment, the sheet's up here, but if you want me to bring it back out and you want to make a comment, we're happy to add more names to this list. Does anybody else who isn't on this sheet want to participate? Okay, very good. I am also collecting email comments from citizens who are unable to attend this meeting and wish to have their thoughts become part of the public record. My town email address is on the Planning Commission listing in the town website, but I'll also tell you it's just Casey Greer, KASEYGRIER, one word, @onancock.com. What I'm doing is I'm going to collate the emails received into one document that will become part of the public record and used in our deliberations. I will include your name, and I'd like to have your street address so I know that you're a resident of the town, and where you live. But I will not publish your email address in this list so that you can maintain privacy, some privacy. I have already received 2 emails, and so I'm anticipating this might wind up being quite a document for us to work our way through. Atlantic Group and Associates have sent a representative this evening to make a short presentation about their application to start this hearing. It's a quick review for the commissioners and will also create a second public record of their plans for the purposes of our evaluation. After their presentation, we will move on to your public statements and questions for the planning commissioners and the developer. We will not be able to answer complex questions associated with our deliberations tonight because we have a lot of work to do on this. And as I said, if you have not signed up for comment, please feel free to add your name to the list late. And I will check to see if there's anybody who's feeling left out at the end of the deliberation of the public comment period. The Planning Commission will evaluate the application and all citizen comments, our zoning ordinances, and other relevant material, and will vote on the application at our October meeting. At that point, it will be referred to town council because we make a recommendation and they make the final decision. So you're going to want to follow this issue and stick with it and keep an eye on how things are going. Finally, if you're here to talk about boundary adjustment for the property adjacent to Liberty Street, and I've had a little confusion on that, this is the wrong hearing. So you have 2 opportunities to comment at the county supervisors meeting on September 17th and the town council meeting on September 23rd. Under statute, it's 22nd? Okay, I'm sorry, on the 22nd. Under statute, this is a matter under ordinance, this is a matter between the county government and the town government, and the planning commission is not written into this process. So that's just FYI if you're interested in issues associated with the boundary adjustment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is call to order and open this public hearing. And do I need a motion on this? No, I don't. I do or I don't, you guys? No. Okay, I'm still learning my motions and not motions and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and open this planning hearing. What I'd like to do is start with, I'm assuming we do have a representative from Atlantic. Okay, go ahead, please come up to the
Casey.
mic.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Just real quick, your email address is Casey.Greer.
Oh, is it Dot Greer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll be going into the outer space. So thanks. And could you state your name, sir, for the record?
Yes, I'm Mark Huey with the Atlantic Group and Associates, and we're here to represent the Otichowski Group, LLC. All right, as you can see in the packet, there's the concept plan is in there, and the site is located on Market Street, just west of Fairgrounds Road. Property is identified as tax map 85A, 3A, 29A, and it's approximately 27.33 acres. It's currently zoned B2 highway commercial. Property is currently located within the town limits and its land use is agriculture. The owner seeks to rezone the property to R2 to allow for residential development. As previously discussed, there is a known shortage of housing on the eastern shore of Virginia. We are confident that a residential use is more appropriate at this location than a commercial use, especially due to the size of the property. A residential use will result in much less traffic than a commercial use on over 27 acres. A larger commercial user is more likely to pursue a location on the Route 13 corridor, and smaller commercial users would likely find downtown Onancock more desirable. The property is adjacent to other properties owned R2, therefore keeping with the character of the neighborhood. With that said, we respectfully request a favorable recommendation to rezone this property to R2 and would be pleased to answer any questions.
Can we go ahead and take some questions directly? Or
I have
up to me? Yeah, go ahead. Let's take
You
some questions.
mentioned that the adjacent properties are zoned R2.
Yes.
Do you know which those are?
Similar residential uses.
We've got the Pine Street Apartments and a number of
Okay.
apartments that are adjacent.
Okay, thank you.
So there's similar residential uses.
Do we have any other questions from the commissioners at this time? No. I think what I'm going to do is let people begin to speak, and they need to come up there, but if they have something that's directed straight to you, then we'll have you give an answer.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much
Yep.
for coming.
Yep.
Okay, so let me begin the public comment process. I'm having a hard time reading this. Karen Gravel. Okay, we'll move you to the end of the list. Okay, Mary Sinclair. Oh, it's Mark. You need to work on your handwriting. Okay, are you withholding for the time being? Oh, okay. Well, Jay Miller. Also, if you have a written statement, you are welcome to add it to the public record. So Jay, you can turn your remarks over.
Okay, I can send an email.
Yes, you can send them as an email to me and I'll put them all together.
Okey doke. Since my public speaking, as you can see, I stutter a lot, so I'm going to read this statement instead. Okay, with the help of the Nancock County Supervisors, the developer's agent here tonight has already approval to build 450 multi-level townhomes, apartments, commercial buildings on the property behind Food Lion and close to Fairgrounds Road. He also has approval to build 220 more structures on the property known as Gunkin Manor. That's also on Market Street. That's 670 multi-level buildings that will draw their water from wells paid for by Nancock, dump their waste into the treatment plant paid by Nancock, and add 1,000 more cars to our rural roads, not designed to handle them, and good luck trying to get past the four-corner traffic lights during rush hour. However, and because enough is a phrase that you're never going to hear from any developer, he's back again with a plan to add another 120 multi-level townhomes to the property at the intersection of Fairgrounds Road and Market Street. And with a traffic light, no doubt, soon to follow, because that's quite a, so now one can now envision a wall of hundreds of multi-story townhomes lining half the length of Market Street. But wait, there's more. Just rezoning this property will not allow him to build all that he wants, because I've heard him state, not this guy, but Chris Corbo say, that he would require a special variance in addition to the rezoning, so he can squeeze even more townhomes on this property, suck up even more water, dump even more waste, and add even more cars to our traffic. The people of Nancock want small town America. Those people who are from here stay here because of its history. They like the shops, they like the restaurants, the wharf, they fish out of the creek. And the people who on Nancock who come here, like me, move here because we like the shops, the restaurants, the theater, and the older homes that some of us had restored, and to get away from this. The people of Nancock have a vision, and this is not it. This is not it. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to discourage applause, even no matter how, how wonderful you feel about any particular set of comments. That's not suitable in a setting like this. It goes on a lot in town council too, but I don't want applause here. Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Dana Simpson.
Dana Simpson, 85 Market Street and 25 Market Street. I love the idea that Onancock is going to work toward being an ecotourism based place and a community for year-round living. I understand that there needs to be more housing, housing, but I also think that it's important for us to take time, step back, and determine exactly how we want the growth that will come. So instead of developers or people representing developers that are indeed middlemen are coming to us and presenting us with what they want to do, I think it's extremely important that we take time and figure out what's the best route to go forward. So we're the ones who are saying, you know, we want the lots to be a certain size. We want the houses to be built a certain level of quality, because a lot of times the developments that are built are based totally on profit for the developer. So they're using kind of cookie cutter type building practices, not things that are actually going to last. One of the beautiful things about Onancock are all the beautiful old homes that are hundreds of years old. Our house is 1860, and all the houses around us are of that ilk. When places are not that great to live in and people are living there because they're working, so they have to be there, that's a transient population instead of a population where you know your neighbors and everybody hangs out and it's an awesome community. And we really want to preserve that in Onancock. It's extremely important. So instead of allowing people like this Mr. Carbaugh, who has 3 proposals in the close vicinity, and also another huge one down in Exmoor that people are very upset about, we need to say, why are we giving the keys to our town to a middleman? Why don't we meet and consider developers who come in and we speak together? This Atlantic group, they've been working their way down the shore. They were up in Snow Hill. That went horribly wrong. There was even a lawsuit against the town. It's really important that we don't necessarily open the door to people like this. We can have developers who come and want to stay. I think there's a development down around Exmoor where the guy is, he's in healthcare and he's actually building, he wants to build a little development for the people who are going to be working in this healthcare facility. That sounds good. That's somebody who cares about the community, is going to stick around. We aren't interested in people coming and flipping all the permits, and then we are not making the regulations. We're not able to voice our concerns. It's already out of our hands. So I don't even think we should open the door to these guys at this point.
Thank you. Next up is, help me, Scott Schreiber. Hi, Scott. Sorry. You guys, everybody needs to work on their handwriting here. I just don't what, you know. Okay, so well, that's true. I could put my reading glasses on. That would help a lot, wouldn't it? Okay, sorry. Go ahead,
No
Scott.
worries. So I'm Scott Schreiber. I live at 6 Joint Street, and I'm here tonight to voice my opposition to the plan that's been put forth. I just haven't heard a compelling reason why the town needs to do so. Now, I did read the town manager's report, and I attended the last meeting and listened to the developer talk, and I think reasonable people can disagree on whether it should or shouldn't. I happen to believe that it doesn't need to be approved. One thing that I would encourage you to do is, if you're inclined to approve this, I think we should be approving final plans. I think we should know exactly what we're getting. We have to live with this, whatever it turns out to be, if it's approved, for the duration. This is our entry into our town. I think it matters not only to us driving in every day, but those that we want to attract to this town. So I think that we should know what it's going to look like. I think that, for instance, are the homes going to face Market Street? Because I'm not familiar with too many homes that face or that don't face the street that they're on in our town. Are we going to have privacy fences, for instance, that are facing Market Street? Or could we ask the developer to have a berm with maybe mature trees that might soften the look of it as we come into town? So I just would encourage you to ask the developer, if you're inclined to approve it, to give us final plans. I know that he said that he doesn't want to do that it'll cost money. And that's a reasonable concern for him. I mean, I understand that. On the other hand, we have to live with what's here. And we're not asking for this to be rezoned. He is. So I think that it's reasonable to ask him to give us plans. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Priscilla Hart.
Good evening. I'm Priscilla Hart, 21 Market Street. I am disappointed not to learn more about the project in tonight's presentation from the representative. I was thinking that I would see or hear some more specifics, and I did not. But I am very familiar with the previous development in Only. It is huge. There were a lot of concerns about that. The fire department expressed their concerns about ingress and egress. And I am extremely concerned about the use of our resources right here in Onancock for this project. Our fire department, our water, our sewer. I am not sure that we have the infrastructure to be able to manage this. I don't see how we can. And as taxpayers, I don't see why we should. I'm not so sure that we really need how many new homes on Market Street? I just don't see it. I don't know why. I'm not sure there are so many people beating down the door to come here. I mean, it's a lovely town, but I think it's going to take a while for us to grow to the point where we need so much more workforce housing. We have the hospital. We need some housing for hospital workers, but I'm not seeing people come here in droves. And while we like tourism, while we love to have visitors, I'm not so sure this is the way to go about developing our town. I would like to see us take a lot more time. I'm not encouraged by what I saw in Only. I looked at the plans, I attended the meetings. I was disappointed that we offered and are planning to provide our water to the development in Only. And once again, I don't know that we have the capacity to do that when we have gravity-fed pipes going to the sewage plant and supposedly no mechanical in the town. Is that right, Matt? Can I ask a question here?
Well, you are. Go ahead.
I'm talking about the lower area, Market Street and King.
Pump station on Hartman, and it goes to a pump station that's closer to the sewer plant. So the gravity fed system comes from the hospital down this way, goes into the Hartman pump station, and then goes up Hartman and then down Boundary, and then back along the Woodlands to the sewer plant.
So what about Lower Market Street? Below where I live, going towards, okay, from the, yeah, down by the wharf. That, I don't know that gravity could pull all of that waste to HRSD.
South Street, there's another.
Oh, okay. I honestly thought I heard you say that there were no mechanical pumps in the town. Mm-hmm.
If it just helps with the elevation.
So it moves up to the pipe so that the gravity can take the waste forward. Okay. What's a forced main? What's a forced
Okay,
main?
all right.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I was wondering how all of this
Okay,
happened.
I think we might need a sewage education night, but this is not the time, so, but, okay.
Well,
Still anything else you're?
yes, I
but
do
I'll
want to
take it
say
with
one
this.
more thing. I would like to see us take a lot of time and make our own plans as to what we want to see and present them to the developer. And maybe then the developer would be able to make some changes. Proffers, I got one more thing to say. Mr. Schreiber just mentioned some possibilities that could be offered to the town. It's customary to have proffers offered to a town when you are looking to do some development, you want it approved. So we should be looking for what kinds of things the developer can do for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go back to the top of the list. Karen, did you have something you want to say?
Yes, I'm not opposed to more development. I think the houses that have come along on Johnson Street are compatible with us. They have come on slowly in a way that we can incorporate them. I am very concerned that we don't know what we're getting with this. I really concur with Mr. Schreiber. We need to see what in the world they have in mind. And what do they mean by multifamily? 10, 20? I mean, what are they getting? And what the potential for these places not being used by workforce, but being bought up by investors to use as vacation rentals that they rent out, or, gouging rental prices. We don't have any control over this. And I think we really need to see a lot more exactly what they will be required to do, not what they say they're going to do. And I'm very nervous about it because I don't think we're getting those assurances at all.
Thank you. Okay, and was there anybody else before I turn it over? Mark has something he wants to say, but is there anybody who has got comments that they want to make that specifically about this zoning request in the audience? Sarah, would you like to speak?
It was not what I was familiar with. Can you repeat the name of who you're representing?
I'm with the Atlantic Group and Associates.
But you mentioned another
Yeah.
company.
Odachowski Group is the owner of the property.
Can you spell that, please?
Odachowski Group LLC.
Yeah, it's on the application. Yeah. Yeah, you'll find it on the application. Yeah. Any other questions or comments that you want to make? Okay, very quiet group. Mark, did you want to add something, or was this about something else entirely? Oh, that's right. Excuse me, since you're not speaking about this, we're going to close at, yes.
Didn't the staff report be presented?
Well, it wasn't clear to me, but what I can do is call people's attention to it. Should we want, okay, I'm learning, you guys, bear with me. I'm still learning. So Matt, do you want to summarize your staff report? This is also in the packet, and this was Matt's evaluation of the application.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to be redundant with what's already been said about the project. It's 27 and change acres on Market Street on the west side of Fairgrounds. The zoning currently is B2. The use is currently vacant / agricultural. The adjacent zoning on the north side is R1C, which is residential small lot. On the south side of Market Street, there's 4 lanes of traffic. Then there's B2 with the laundromat and the car wash. And on the east side, it's B2, which is the dentist office, and also R1A for the 2 homes that are next to the dentist office. And then to the west is B2 for a hand car wash, and R2 with multifamily, and that's the senior community that's there on boundary. I'm gonna skip through those things that have already been said. DOT, VDOT ran a, my opinion aside, they ran a traffic study for traffic coming in and out, comparing a commercial use versus a residential use. And it seems though that based on their data and their history, that a residential use would generate less traffic. The environmental impact, this property, portions of it are within the RPA, and Greg's already taught us about that. The DEQ and the county all have permitting processes that they have to follow, that the developer would have to follow. So stormwater management, RPA, RMA, all of those areas are going to be land disturbance permits that the county, we outsource that to the county. So they're going to be the ones that police that, and they are, they know exactly what they're doing. Staff recommendation was quite simple. I'm not making a recommendation. I think that there's too many intangibles to consider to come forward and say that just because it's contiguous property that we should approve. So I'm saying that the intangibles outweigh that to the point that I would withhold any comment.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry I goofed that up. Okay, now I can close. I guess, no, we have closed the hearing. Yes, I closed the hearing. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. All right, so at this point on the agenda, we will receive the town manager report. And then if there's general public comment about other issues or the comprehensive plan, we'll take those at that time.
Slow application month.
Okay, okay. So, yes,
Just before people leave, I wanted to ask, a few people mentioned what they would like to see. Does anyone else have comments on what they would?
and what they would
see
like to see.
for this type of proposal coming into town, gateway to the town? What would you find acceptable? Anyone have any thoughts on that?
What's there now? We got the farm grove.
Agriculture.
Actually, it's green space. So we have green space that is all the way into town before you get to downtown historic on Hancock. And right behind our sign that the town went to great trouble to invent is rural area. There's gonna be no commercial, I don't understand the commercial traffic study that's going to outweigh thousands of cars from the development that's gonna be jammed in there. And the property that that the developer already owns is in the middle too, the biggest lot. Where the airport runway used to be, he owns that too. So God helps me what they have planned to jam into that particular section of property. He's got that too. So this is just the beginning of, well, we're already into it now. He's got those 2 projects already approved, thanks to the supervisors in Accomack County. And now he's back, he's gonna jam that completely full of townhomes. And that's the vision that those guys have. And that just can't be our vision. I'm sorry, that just can't be it. We let the corn stalks grow higher. It's like, that's what we see in Hancock right now, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, thank you, Jay. Okay, we'd like to have a response. Sure. You may do that.
Yeah, this is the beginning. It's just the rezoning process. We'd still have to submit for site plans and all the other approvals. I just want to reiterate that. It's just the beginning process. One of the things that, in terms of jamming, quote unquote, jamming it full, the R2 zoning would allow for a much higher density than what the developer is actually asking for. It would allow for a much higher density than what is actually being asked of. It's also in the notes in the submittal for the planning commission meeting. You can get more detail on that. One thing about the development that's occurring outside of the town, that is not going to financially benefit the town with any kind of tax revenue in a way that having property owners within the town would contribute to your tax base. So that's something to consider. It's like there's development out there, but development in the town would benefit the town more. And also, whenever you bring on more users to a water system, you're gonna have more users. They're gonna be contributing. They're gonna be paying more. Like everybody's going to be paying for the facility, so it kind of supports it in a way. And one thing about development, in terms of this, like this style of development, something else to consider about density is, sorry, you have a baseline cost for infrastructure, and that is divided up against each unit that you put on a road. So if you have less roads, or if you have less houses on that road, the cost of the house is going to go up, which makes it less affordable. So having a balance between density and overdevelopment, and you know what I mean, working for that is part of what you need to consider whenever you're developing, because all the utility pipes, all of the infrastructure, all the asphalt, it all has to be divided up more or less in the cost of each home. So that's something to consider. So yeah, it'd be nice to be like, okay, we just want 10 here, but you're not going to have the density that will support a lower cost for workforce housing. Something else to consider is, having this density closer to downtown would allow people to support the downtown businesses and the economic development there. Like you could walk or you could bike, like, or take a short drive. But that's something else to consider. That's something else to consider versus having something that's out in the ag land, just developed, just out in the middle of nowhere. Is the proximity to the town and how it can support the town. It's just something else to consider with this project is getting that density in closer to the town because it can support it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Cindy wants to ask a
I
question.
have a question, please.
Mhm.
Could you update us on the status of the other two properties that have been mentioned, the one behind the Food Lion and the one
Oh.
on the approach to town, and
Oh.
tell us exactly where those are in the planning process?
Thank you for bringing that up. The Odachowski property, that is not the Coastal Square project. So that is not
I
the
understand.
developer I'm here for.
But I believe your group was associated with those also.
Yeah, but that's a different,
I know,
different
but
thing.
us in our thinking,
Yeah.
it bears on this.
Yeah.
And that's why I was wondering if you could give us an updated status.
I'd have to
Okay.
go to the public record
Okay,
and see where
thank you.
each is in it. It's state.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Question?
I'm Mark Sinclair, Finger Circle. I'm generally pro-development, but I'm very neutral on this particular project. I think it's a very statement piece for the town, and I'm not sure which way I want to see it go. I didn't say anything because there was nothing I wanted to contribute until I heard you speak. And when you speak, it made me very, very nervous. And it made me nervous, sir, because you said that the zoning that we're giving it allows him to build much, much more. In fact, you said it emphatically, it would build much, much more.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that if you decide to go with this developer, you have it in writing, clearly defined how much he's going to develop it.
Yeah, it's actually,
If you're going to change the zoning without knowing exactly what you're going to get, That just scared the heck out of me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but no, I'm sorry. I understand your concern. That's what it sounds like. I forgot to mention it's proffered to be 129 units.
Yeah.
No more than 129 units. So it could be based on it, like, if like based on the requirements, it could be almost 2 to 3 times that, but it's not. It's proffered and capped off at 129. Yeah. Yeah. So, and a lot of those other details would be fleshed out in the site plan submittal process and the stormwater review and all like the different regulating agencies that we have to submit to get a project moving forward. This is just very, very preemptive, very preliminary, just to get the residential component suggested.
So that plan here has your 120 townhomes on it, so
Mhm.
how many more do you think that you could squeeze? I mean, that's quite a congestion of structures right there. And I can't imagine after looking at that you think that you can get more than 100
Jay,
structures.
Jay, you have to look at what R2 zoning is. Okay, that's what you have to look at, is that there is a definition. Go back. One of the things you guys need to do is go read the ordinances. It'd be really helpful if you would go read the zoning categories. And so go take a look at what R2 allows.
There's a building structure size that's the property for each particular structure is in that part of R2. And that I heard Chris Kovar say on the previous meeting that we were here, that wasn't good enough for him to put 120. I mean, I didn't make that up. I heard him say it. That he needed to have a variance. And I remember everybody here talking about R3, which was going to be special variance, an adjustment to inventing a brand new designation for rural. And in order to accommodate 120-foot wide, squashed together townhomes, which is what this is. So tell me that's not what I heard last time. That's what I heard.
One of the reasons for that would be to get these to be fee simple lots. The way that the code is written, for a 20-foot wide townhome, you would have to have, with a 16,000 foot minimum lot size, you'd have to have an 800-foot deep lot. Like an 800-foot deep lot, almost over 2 football fields, based on how the code is written for townhomes. So like to keep it within a 100-foot lot, yeah, then you'd have 5 wide on a 100-foot lot, but then that would be more like not a fee simple lot. Like it would, you know what I mean? Like the goal of the developer is to get fee simple lots so that these houses, duplexes, towns can be sold and have homeowners. Whereas if you have a multifamily, like if this was one lot and one owner for all 5 buildings, then it would meet the criteria for the 5 homes on one lot with a 100-foot wide lot, but you wouldn't be able to have them fee simple.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to, go ahead. Do you want to ask a question? We're gonna be going through all of this, Jay, in the next month.
You mentioned that there's been a proffer to limit the
Yes.
number of units.
Mhm.
We haven't seen that.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
No,
Okay. Would have
Written
to,
down?
let me see here. Is it on, in the application?
That's not a problem.
Oh, no. Okay. Okay.
You need a formal proffer and a proper.
Yeah.
statement
Oh, a
needs to
formal,
be
okay,
developed
formal
by the
proffer.
attorney.
Okay. Yeah, I was under the assumption that had already been received, but yeah, the objective is to proffer it to 129, cap it on the last statement of the application.
yeah,
And then the other thing,
Yeah.
I agree that if it's just rezoned, you can put way more units than you were proposing. I estimate about 240 units.
Yeah.
With say there's a net 20 acres that could be developed at half-acre lots with 6 apartments, or 6 apartment units per lot, that's 240. The other thing about the variance, and I've mentioned this several times, going back to
April or May when this was first
Mhm.
brought up. That cannot be accommodated through this rezoning. A variance cannot be accommodated through a rezone.
Yeah, that would be a.
Well,
Wait.
it's not meant for this type of thing. This is
Okay.
this is a plan unit development that you're proposing. We don't have a plan unit development ordinance. And, you know, if there's any chance of this moving forward, that's probably where we need to go.
Okay.
And that's why I asked people, what would they like to see? Because if people want some apartments in town, we can develop an ordinance that would allow that. But the existing ordinance does not allow it. And if we simply rezone the property, the owner will have the ability to put about 240 units on the property.
Okay.
And if they're interested in proffering, then they need to, submit formal proffers.
Okay.
Well, Rick, you haven't spoken, so let me let you speak first.
Very quickly, I came tonight, for information. I am growing increasingly nervous, as the evening goes on, and I think many of us are. 2 quick points. One, I don't think most of us are against affordable housing, but it's where it is placed. And there are numerous other options that I think would be met with much more interest. 2, I see Market Street becoming a total nightmare. Guaranteed 1 light, possibly 2.
Yeah.
And I asked all of us to think how that would look in years to come.
Okay, thank you. Was there one more?
Could we get
Go
the
ahead.
name of the person who just spoke?
That's
Say Rick.
Rick, I'm sorry, Rick
And Rick.
Turner. Yeah, Rick, could you identify yourself? And-
Hancock Street here in town.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now let me, what I want to do now is, we sort of closed the hearing and we didn't close the hearing. So, I'm going to close the hearing at this point. What I would like to tell you to do is some of you, as you listen and think about this stuff. Now, if you haven't read this material, please go back and look at it. Okay. And then the other thing you can do is look at the R2, B2 and R2 zoning ordinances. And they're in their current state. That's where we are. And so then what I would say to you is send me an email with your comments and I'll put it together so that we can all use them in our deliberations. Okay. So as I said, the Planning Commission is in an advisory role. So we will make a decision and it will go to Town Council. And Town Council makes the final decision on this. We will produce as strong a rationale for our decision as we can. So we will try to make this thoughtful and, well-written and as thoughtful a process as we can. Okay. I really can't talk to you now about what we all are thinking. That wouldn't be appropriate. So at this point, I think if there's no more comments, then what I'd like to do is
The town council, we're having a public hearing for the planning commission, and all the comments are going to you folks. And the town council is not here to listen to the public hearing.
they'll receive all this material, Jay. No one. Yes, they have to have their own public hearing. We're going through, this is a cumbersome process, but there's an opportunity for a lot of input. And the other thing I would say is that if you think I'm going to sit on this stuff and not share it widely, then you don't know me. Okay, I'm really for transparency in this. So the comments that I get from everybody will go into our next meeting packet in October. Okay, so they'll be there and you can look at all of them. And then, the town council has to hold its own hearing on top of that. But believe me, all your comments from the minutes and all the comments that you decide to share with me in writing will all be available for public consumption. Okay. All right, thank you very much for appearing this evening. So at this point, we're through with general public comment. And so what I would say is, do we have commissioners' comment? And I feel like I just made my comment, is that I'd really like for you to bear with us. Sometimes it's a little awkward. Sometimes I'm a little awkward on the niceties of the procedures, but I'm learning. And I am very much about transparency in this process. So I'd really like you to have a little faith that we're going to do the best that we can do on this. Any other comments?
Yeah, just I'd like to thank everyone for
Yes.
coming out tonight, and it's good to hear your thoughts on the proposal.
Yeah, it's important to hear your thoughts, and as you can see, we've been up here taking our own personal notes on this. So please be aware that, we're going to give this careful attention. Anything else you'd like to say, Cindy?
I just want to say that I do sit on the town council, and I see that a fellow council member, Sarah Knock, is here in the audience tonight. And I think that we are listening and taking notes. And so I think the information that you were referencing will get to town council members. And certainly they need to hear from you independently also. Thanks.
Paul, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I was going to say, one, of course, thank you for coming as always. The more involved citizens are, the better the decisions can be. That what I was thinking was that that Commissioner McGowan asked, "What is it that you want to see?" And for some of us, the sort of the old phrase of old too soon, too late, smart. Is always operative. And I would just suggest, let us know as you can think about what it is you want to see, share it, both in public and through Casey or individuals. So thank you for coming.
I said all I had to say earlier. Thanks. And thank you for coming up. It's, we really do value your input and your opinions. And, we are going to, we have not reached a decision, and we're going to carefully weigh everything. So thank you all for coming, and we really do appreciate your input.
And we look forward, and we look forward to seeing you at the October meeting. So, okay, thank you very much. May I have a motion to adjourn?
We'll move, we adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.